Hello everyone. So today we are going to start with Microsoft Excel, another software of Microsoft Office. Now before starting with this Microsoft Excel, we'll study what actually a Microsoft Excel is, why we are using it. So an Excel is a computer program that we use to create electronic spreadsheets. This particular thing is known as your spreadsheet. What actually a spreadsheet is, it is a combination of rows and columns. The horizontal part of this spreadsheet is known as the columns and the vertical part is known as the rows. Now you can calculate the columns as A, B, C, D and the rows as 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this field is known as a cell. Now there is a term known as cell referencing. What does that cell referencing means? Cell referencing means what is the address of this particular cell. So how we can check? Now say if we want to check this reference of this particular cell, now we can see this is in E column and 5th row. So the reference for this number is E5. So the position or the reference of this particular number is E5. If I want to check it for this thing, now we can say H, and you can check the number of the row is 9. So its reference is H9. In this way you can check the reference of any of the column present over here. Now if this Excel works with the workbook and worksheets. The sheets are here. You can suppose you have to work on the attendance of a class and of every month. You can create a sheet for every different month. Okay, you can, if you want to add a particular sheet, just simply click onto it. You can see in this way you can add a sheet over here. If you want to delete a sheet, just right click onto it and simply says delete. If you want to rename a sheet, right click onto it, you have an option as rename. So let's say this is the attendance for month March, so simply you can rename it as March. If you want to rename this as well, so you can say February. In this way, same way you can change the name of this sheet, let's say January. Okay, so is it easy? Hopefully. Now the collection of all these worksheet is known as your workbook. So if I'm talking about this particular file, this is known as your workbook. These are your worksheets. This is the cell referencing. Now one more thing, Microsoft Excel is similar as that of your Microsoft Word. So many things are similar over here. Let's say I have written my name over here and I want to copy it. So I simply need to select this. I'll say Control C means copy, and I can paste it anywhere I want. Okay, so this way we can copy. If I want to move it, I'll simply say Control plus X and I can move it anywhere. Okay, these commands are same. Other than this, if we want to bold our text, so simply select it, press Control B, or simply click onto this. If you want to italic the particular this text, simply press Ctrl or I and either choose this option. If you want to underline this, either press Ctrl plus U or simply click onto this. Okay, now suppose I want a border for my text. Simply select the text and you have an option. You can see this option. Simply press this small arrow over here. You can see you will get so many options like this. So as per your requirement, you can choose any of the borders. So let's say I want to choose the all borders. So you can see whatever the area I have selected, every single cell will now have its own border. Let's say now I want to move this particular text to the right side. I'll simply choose this option. If I want to move it to the center, I can choose this option. Now there are 3 more options included: top align, center align and middle align. What does it mean? Suppose Before starting with it, let's see if I want to increase the size of the row, how I can do that. Simply go to this row. Whenever you will get this kind of shape, pointer, just click onto that and increase the height. Okay, now I want my this text in the center. I can simply choose this option. Now you can see your text is in the middle. Now if you want at the top, you can choose the top option, this is middle option, and this is the down option. You can choose as per your requirement. Now one more option is there. If I want the text in a tilted way, I can also do that. If I say angle counterclockwise, you can say now my text is in this way. In same way, you can say vertical text, so my text is in this way. Let me increase it so that you would be able to see that. So you will get the text in this way. Okay, so as per your requirement, you can choose any of the format. Okay, so let's say now my name is larger than this particular column or the particular cell. Now you can see my text is overflowing, or it's going into the another cell as well. So if I want to overcome this problem, I can either increase the cell size, or what can I do is I can wrap the text. So if I wrap the text, you can see this particular text is adjusted in particular this column. Now one more option is there, that is merge and center. What does it means? Suppose I want to merge these two columns, okay, so that it will be in a single column. So I'll simply say merge column. You can say now these two columns are now merged together, and they will work as a single column or a single cell. Now move to the next. We have an option like this particular fill color. Why we use this fill color? Let's say I want to fill this particular cell with some color, so I can choose any of the color. You can see in this way you can change the color of the cell. If I want to change the color of the text, so I can do with this A. Simply change the color of the text in this way. Now if you want to increase its size, you can either do it from here, or one more option is there. You can see this A with the upward arrow. If you press this, the size is increased by 1. If you press this A with the lower arrow, this will decrease the size of the particular text. Now moving to the next, we have the insert option. What does this insert option will do? In the similar way, like if you want to add a picture, you can similarly do that. Press to the picture, then as you previously choose the picture in Microsoft Word, in the same way you can choose a picture for Microsoft Excel. So in this way you can add a picture. You can also change its shape as you previously did in Microsoft Word. You can see the shape is being changed. Okay, so next is in the insert option, we have an option as shapes. As we used to add the shapes in Microsoft Word, you can similarly add these shapes in Microsoft Excel as well. Next, if you want to insert a pie, what a pie is, a pie chart that we use in our simple mathematics, we can add it. You can see now it's empty. Why it is empty? Because I don't have any data. Let's say now I want to enter the data. This is the name of the student, and here are his marks. So let's say the name of the student is S1, name of the student is S2, S3, S4, S5. There are 5 students. Let's say their marks is 30, 40, 50, 60, 20. These are his marks. So if you want to create a chart, how you can do it? Simply select it, then go to insert and say pie. Any pie, you can choose a 2D pie or a 3D pie as per your requirement. So I'll simply choose it. Now you can see the marks of the student S1 is this. These are the marks of S2 students. So this pie chart option will convert this data representation, this text data representation, into an pictorial representation. In same way you can even add a chart. How you can do it? Simply select it, go to insert, choose the bar. Firstly we'll deal with the bar option. so you can add a bar also. So let's say I want this kind of bar, so you can say the bar of the student has been mentioned over here. Okay, if I want to change its color, I can simply do that. Now if we want to save this file, we can do in the similar way as we have done in Microsoft Word. So similarly, go to this office button, say save. You can choose the location where you want to save the particular your workbook. So let's say the name as my workbook and says save. So when I close it, you would be able to see this workbook over here. So if I want to open the similar workbook, I can open the Microsoft Office, go to this office button and says open, and I can add this particular open this particular file that I have created so far. The name of the file is my workbook, and I'll say open. So yes, this was the file on which we are working. Like in Microsoft Word, you were adding new pages. Here you can add new sheet. So let's say now I want to work in sheet 2, so I'll simply say click onto that particular sheet and start working onto that. So we were onto this insert option, and we have discussed so many options that were present over here. Now let's say I want this particular page layout option. Now you can see there is an option name as orientation. This works in the same way as we have done in Microsoft Word. Now let's say I want to change the background of this particular thing, so I will select it and I will say background. I can choose any of the picture. That picture would be in the background. You can see now my Excel sheet would be, instead of that particular white color, my Excel sheet is having this particular background. Okay, so if I want to delete this background, simply say delete background. Okay, now what does this particular print area means? Now we can see there are so many rows, so many columns. Only on a single sheet you will not be able to take a printout. So print area means you will select how many which area you want to for which area you want the printout for. So simply select the area and says set the print area. Okay, now you can see only this thing would be printed, none other than this would be printed. Now we'll work with the formulas. So before starting with the formulas, let's do one more thing. We'll create the list of some students, their marks, so that we can work onto that. So firstly here we'll write the name of the student, then subject 1, then subject 2, subject 3, and so on. Okay, so sorry for the same. So we'll do control Z, and whatever I have done, that has been undone. So let's say the name of the student is student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4, student 5. Now let's say I want the serial number as well. Now we can see, like I was like on the left side there is no space. If I want to add any column onto it, I'll simply press right click, and there is an option named as insert. When you press insert, you can see there is one more column added. So let's say I want to name this column as serial number. So I want to give the serial number as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So instead of typing all those numbers, you will simply type 1, then click onto that number, and when you move this cursor over it, you will get the same kind of cursor. With the help of this cursor, left click onto it. Okay, then first of all, write 2, then select these two. After selecting these two, press this plus button. You can see the counting is already by itself is here. Okay, now let's say here you want to add the marks of subject 1, so you can add it. So let's say the marks are 45, 48, 42, 41, 30. Okay, so in the similar way I can add the marks of the subject 2. So for now I'm copying these marks only for the subject 2 and subject 3. So we know what is the shortcut for copy. It's Control C, and for pasting it's Control V. Now let's say I want the total of all these marks. Now how can I do this? I have a formula for this. What is the formula? Just write down. Firstly press equals to, then press this bracket, then simply choose the columns which you want to add. Firstly I'll choose this column, then I press plus, then this, then plus, then this. You can do, if you want to add 10 numbers, you can add the columns in the similar way. Okay, so moving to the next. Now instead of writing the formula again and again, as we have typed this counting, we can similarly add these numbers. How you can do it? Simply move your cursor to it. Now press the left click of your mouse and in this similar and drag it down. In this way you would be able to get the total of the same. Now let's say you want to get the percentage. Now how you can get the percentage? Now one more thing, like you can see like the size of this text is more than your cell, so either you can increase the size of the cell or you can do the wrap text. So if I'm dealing with the percentage, so formula for the percentage is equals to, then this bracket. Simply we know first of all this marks will come upon the total marks. Let's say the each subject is of 50 marks, so my total marks would be 150. Then close the bracket, then multiply sign, the simple mathematical formula that we used to do in our mathematics in our junior classes. So simply press enter. You can see the marks of the student 1 is 90%. In the similar way, if you want to calculate the percentage, just in the same way that we have did in total 1, we can similarly do in the case of percentage. Okay, so this is the formula for your percentage. Hope this formula is clear to you. Now if you want to create again that we have made one chart of the same, how you can do this? Simply go to insert, then choose any of the line or anything you want. Let's say I want to add this columns chart, so let's say I want this one, so I'll click onto it. You can see the marks are being mentioned over here. Okay, for the student 1 this color is there, for student 2, student 3, student 4 and so on, all their marks are being mentioned over here. Okay, so after these formulas there are so many formulas. Let's say I want to subtract any two numbers, so how can I do that? I'll simply type equals to, then the bracket opens, then let's say I want to subtract this total I want to subtract the subject 2's marks from total marks. So I'll simply choose first of all the total marks, then I'll say minus, then I'll choose the subject's marks, and I'll close the bracket and says enter. Now you can say in the similar way we can calculate for the same. Hope this is easy. Okay, so similar way we can save as we did in the previous Microsoft Word. Now if I want to save as means you want to change the location of the file where you have saved it. Now if I go to the print option, the option is similar. Here you can enter the number of copies you want. Here you can put like, do you want the printout of a particular page or you want the printout of all the things that is over here. Here are some more options which are included. One is selection. Selection means only whatever you will select will you can take the printout of only that thing. If you say entire workbook means as many let's say the workbook contains 10 spreadsheets, the printout of whole that 10 sheets would be taken out. Okay, so simply says okay. In this way you can take the printout. As my system is not connected with the printer, so it is giving me the error. But if your system is connected with the printer, this will not give you any error and it will print whatever you want to print. Hope the Microsoft Excel's basics are clear to you. If you feel any problem, just feel free to ask.